today's video, I have a really special video for you guys. In this video, I am going to be teaching you how to set up your systems within ReiReply. So if you guys have been living under a rock and you don't know what ReiReply is, it's this platform that costs $50 a month and you can do a lot with it, sending messages. It gets really advanced, so this is something that you're definitely going to have to set aside to learn a little bit. What I'm going to show you guys is how to create your virtual assistants pipeline and your acquisition manager's pipeline. So essentially, you're going to be sending campaigns, right, with messages, and your virtual assistant is going to be sorting through the leads, finding who's interested, who's not, and then if they find someone that's interested, then they will be able to push that lead into your pipeline, the acquisition manager's pipeline. So since you guys are going to be sending messages, make sure you guys check out Batch Leads. They have litigator scrub, so they'll scrub anyone that is a litigator. And if you don't know, litigators can sue if you send them messages. So if you use their skip tracing, not only are they going to give you accurate data, accurate phone numbers, they are also going to tell you which ones are litigators. That way you can prevent yourself from getting sued. You can see I've spent a total of $7,000. So I'm pretty much putting my money where my mouth is. This stage replied, it needs to find out, is this someone that's interested? Are they going to be DNC? Are they the wrong number? What's going on? And most of the time when you text people, they're going to tell you like, oh, wrong number, that's not me. Or no, I'm not interested, remove me. Or F off. Or I'm going to call the police, blah, 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 whatever. And then your VA can actually drag them into wherever they belong, depending on what they said. If they were not interested, DNC, wrong number. If the future, they want to sell in the future, you can put them future, and they'll send messages every 30 days or so, 14 to 30 days. That way you can catch them whenever they are interested. Now, let's say this person said right off the bat, I am interested, what's your offer? First, you would tag them as lead. So you would tag them as lead. That way your VA can qualify them a little more and doesn't lose them here in the reply. Because right now it's blank, but when you're sending messages, you're going to have like 300 people here. It's going to be crazy. A lot of people in here. So your VA will have to tag them lead just so they know, okay, this client, this person here said they were interested. They said they were interested. Now I just have to find about the condition and the time to call back. So now this person isn't already tag lead. Anyway, whatever. So you're going to talk to the person. You're going to tell them, okay, condition and call time back for the acquisition manager. The client says, oh yeah, they could call me back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Your VA is going to go over here to appointments, add new. It's going to click new leads right here. The calendar is new leads, super simple. This is only for new leads. That's why it says new leads, VA, submit here. They're going to select the time zone and the time for the callback. So maybe this client said, oh, call me tomorrow. Call me next week on Monday at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Then your VA will just write a title here like, oh, callback, seller wants the offer. Just like that. And you're going to book the appointment. There you go. The VA has now booked the appointment. What booking appointment means is it's going to now push to your CRM, your acquisition pipeline. So we'll go back. And boom, as you can see, what happened here? It says set appointment and manager. We didn't add that. It was all automatic. It was over here. Remember, it was here. It said lead, and now it moved to acquisition pipeline. Now your virtual assistant does not have to reply to this person anymore. They are done. Now it's your job to go into your CRM. As you can see, test 444, it's tagged set appointment and it's tagged manager. If you go over here to your pipeline, your CRM, acquisition manager pipeline, boom, the lead is right here for you. Set appointment, acquisition. Now it gets even better. So let's say you're talking to this person. You'll just call them and say, hey, Smith, you talked to my assistant. My assistant was sending you messages about that property on 123 Main Street. I'm the acquisition manager here for this company. See if we're going to be a good fit. Is it okay if I ask you a couple questions? Because you have to call these people. You don't want to text them, and you won't close deals just by texting. You have to call them and ask them more questions. So you'll call them, you'll ask them, okay, when do you see yourself selling this? Is this something you want to do now or in the future? And timeline, why is it that you're looking to sell? Condition, what's going on? Motivation, why? All those 4 pillars. Once you gather all those 4 pillars, you're going to determine, okay, is this a hot lead? Should I put this in the hot stage? Is this a warm lead? Is this a cold lead? Should I find comps? Are we under contract? Did it close? This is where you'll be able to track what's going on with every lead that comes into your CRM now. So let's say we spoke to this person and they said, oh, I'm going to sell my house for cheap in 2 weeks. That's a hot lead. So what you would do is you would go here and you would just drag it into the hot lead. When you drop it here on hot lead, it's going to change automatically. Boom, there you go. It tagged hot. That way you know, okay, this is a hot lead. Same if you tag warm. You move it over here. It's going to tag warm all by itself. You don't have to add tag. You can manually move it. Warm. Warm is for people that maybe need 3 weeks or more. Now cold. Let's say if we want to do cold, right? Someone that maybe needs more than 3 months. It's going to add the cold tag. Let's say we need to find comps now because we want to find out, okay, what are the properties selling for in the area? You'll take this and you'll move it to find comps. And easy like that, it tagged find comps and it tagged manager. The reason why I have this manager tag is because you're going to be working with a virtual assistant, right? So you don't want them, you guys will be seeing the same messages in the conversations. So they can see the messages that you're sending to these people. But if it's tagged manager, you can tell them, hey, I don't want you answering to nobody that's tagged manager. That's only for me, for acquisition manager. And they'll know, they'll see the tag manager and they won't respond to this client. And you won't want your VAs responding to this client because this is someone that you're already working on. It's a hot lead. It's a warm lead. It's someone that already told you, yes, I want to sell. And you're working with them. You're building that rapport. You don't want the VA to interrupt that rapport. That's why I have it tagged manager. Now, let's say you want to go, you're under contract. You just put it here, under contract. And it will tag under contract. Just got to give it a couple minutes. It's a little slow, but it always does it. Look, I just opened it up and it already says under contract. I didn't have to tag. I didn't type anything in here. Usually you have to go in here, type, but you can just manually move it. Now it's under contract, right? Now, how do we set up follow-up dates? Because pretend this client said, you have notes here, so you can put notes like, oh, on July 2nd, I spoke with Mark. He said, call me back Tuesday so I can get the lease, right? That's how you put your notes. You'll save it. Any notes. Now, let's say this seller, Mark, this is a conversation with Mark. He said, oh, I want you to call me back on Tuesday. Now, you're going to go and book an appointment. But this time, you're not going to book an appointment. Let me show you. Add new. Appointment. New. Take a look at this calendar here. Hold on. Add new. Take a look at this calendar. You have 2 calendars. Super simple. It's not complicated. 2 calendars. One is for following up with leads that you as acquisition manager already talked to and you're building and working with. That's for following up. As you can see, this would be a perfect follow-up example because we're under contract. As you can see, maybe we need to get more information about something. Maybe they're a hot lead. This is going to be a follow-up, so you're going to put in the follow-up calendar. The only time you upload a lead to your new leads calendar, as you can see here, is when it's coming from the VA pipeline to the acquisition pipeline. It's the first time you've never spoke to this person ever. Do you get that? This VA leads is only for your virtual assistant when they're in their VA pipeline. But here we're in our acquisition pipeline. So we don't want to be putting in the wrong calendar. And you can even track your calendars. You just go over here to calendar, click on it, and you'll see. You go up here, it says follow-ups or new leads. As you can see here, new leads, you'll have a calendar telling you, okay, who do you have to call that's a new lead, that your virtual assistant booked the appointment, or who do you have to follow up with that you already spoke with, your VA bin already pushed it a long time ago, you're just following up. Remember, let's go to opportunities. VA pipeline. As you can see, even the VA can see what's going on with that lead. They're not going to respond anymore, but they can see the manager's working on it and it's under contract already because that's where we put it. And remember, when it's here on lead, when it's a tagged lead in the lead stage, that's when your VA wants to book it to the acquisition. When it's over here and the VA wants to book an appointment to move it to your pipeline, to your CRM, that's when they would book the appointment for new leads. They'll go here, new, and that's the only time they would use the VA. Every single time that the VA is booking an appointment, they're going to use the new leads, VA submit here, that calendar. Every time you're putting a reminder in the acquisition pipeline, you're going to use the other calendar. So let's go to opportunities. Let's go to VA pipeline because now you're managing this lead. The VA doesn't have to do anything with that lead. Their job is done. It's your turn now to close it. So you go over here. Remember, let's pretend we're under contract with this test 44. And you have to collect a lease. You have to remind them of the closing date. Whatever it is, you need to follow up with them. You need a reminder. So you're going to click appointment. Add new. Follow up. This is your calendar. Following up. This is not for new leads. And you'll just say, okay, what is the reason that you're following up? Need to remind them about closing date. You put the time that you need to follow up with them. Maybe the time they told you to call them back. The date and then the time specifically. Maybe it's the AM, the PM. You can put that here and then you'll save the event. Save event. Remember, follow-up calendar. That's for managers. Boom. We have booked the appointment. We have put ourselves a little reminder. Now, when we go back, you have to click on this blue thing over here. It's just a little settings that's going to give you any more information. Because you see here, all it says is the name and the tags. That's very stale. So you can add maybe notes. Just click notes. If you wanted to show your notes there too. See, you can see a little note here. I spoke with Mark. He said call me back Tuesday so I can get the lease. And you're going to check this box that says calendar event. Super simple. Right here, I just opened it. Calendar event and no. And boom, here you can see the date that you have to call them back. July 25th at 9 a.m. Okay, so let's say that this lead wasn't under contract or whatever. It's a cold lead. You can just move it to cold. And look, boom, it tagged cold. It erased the under contract and it tagged cold. That way you know, yeah, this lead is a cold lead. They're not ready to sell yet. But you can see the time you have to call them back. So every single day, all you're going to be doing is working with your VA. You're going to be sending campaigns. As you can see, even in the VA pipeline, it updated. It said that this is cold and it's obviously still manager. So yeah, this is your VA pipeline. This is your CRM for your virtual assistant. You have to train them though. You're going to have to tell them, okay, all the leads coming in replied. You tag them lead if they're interested. You tag them future if they are not ready. You tag them not interested if they're not interested. You tag them DNC if you don't want to get sued and they're not interested. Tag them wrong number if they say they're wrong number. That's all you have to do. You just have to train them on which tags to use so they can move down the conveyor belt. It's kind of like Amazon. each package comes in from the same side, but you have to make sure the package gets to its correct destination. So either it's a lead, they're interested, and once they're interested, your plan is to book the appointment so it can move to the acquisition manager's pipeline. Or maybe they're not interested yet, not ready yet. You'll tag future. They'll go from the lead to the future. They'll be here. They're not interested. You'll tag not interested. Or you can manually move it here and it'll tag by itself. DNC, you can move it there and it'll tag by itself. So this is what I mean, your virtual assistance pipeline. Because I'm assuming you're going to be pulling a big list, sending out a lot of messages, and you want to make sure you're organized. So here you can come into your virtual assistance pipeline and you can see what's going on. You can see and say, okay, my VA has responded to how many people? Okay, how many people did say they were interested? Okay, how many people said maybe in the future? Okay, how many people said not at all, not interested? And how many people threatened us? DNC. How many people wrong number? You can see here. Now your acquisition pipeline is for you to work those leads that said yes in the VA pipeline, but now you're working them at a deeper level. As you can see here, the lead will come into the set appointment. It's your job then to call them and say, hey, you spoke with my virtual assistant. You spoke with my assistant, James. He said you had a property you were interested in. I'm the acquisition manager here. Can I just ask you a few questions? You'll ask them those 4 pillars, and then you'll find out if it's a hot, warm, cold. Do you need to find comps? Are you going under contract? Is it closing? And you even have I set up your calendar so you can follow up with the lead. And you'll know what day you have to follow up. July 25th at 9 a.m. Now, does that make sense to you? Whenever you have any questions. Now, another cool thing that I did is you saw how when we were in the VA pipeline, it was tagged lead, meaning they were interest. There was an interest level. Then when they booked the appointment, it moved automatically to the acquisition pipeline, and it moved to your pipeline for real. When that happens, it's going to send you a text message. I know you got a text message a couple days ago that said new lead test, something like that, right? So you're going to get a message that's going to say new lead Mark Smith at 123 Main Street, and then their phone number. You're going to get a text that lets you know, okay, my VA found a lead that I have to call. That's what I created here. Let me show you the workflow. All this workflow does is just a fancy word for trigger. It just says once the appointment is confirmed in this calendar, the new leads, it's going to add a tag manager and set appointment. It's going to remove any other tags like cold, not interested. It's going to update. So it's in your VA pipeline. It's going to update to the acquisition stage. And then in your acquisition manager pipeline, it's going to show as set appointment. And then this internal notification, here you can see it's going to text you to your number every single time that a new appointment is booked. Every single time that your lead pushes a lead from VA pipeline to acquisition pipeline, it's going to send you this text. It's going to say new lead, contact's name, contact's phone number, and contact's address. The only reason it would have sent you that fake address. You can edit this however you like. I do think this is simple enough. Like, it's fine. But you can edit it. Maybe you want more stuff. Maybe you want to get a text about their full name. Maybe you want a text about the state or city. You can just click city. You can just add whatever you want to receive a text about. But when you get that message, you'll just come in here quickly. You'll rush. You'll go to your acquisition pipeline, and you'll see that lead right here. You'll see. Obviously, it's not there because we moved it. We played around. It's already been in here. It's already been moving around. But it will be right here in the set appointment. You'll get a text message, oh, Mark, new lead, Mark Smith. You'll get set appointment right here in your acquisition pipeline. It'll say Mark Smith, set appointment, manager. And then from there, you can move hot, warm, cold, find comps. You can create follow-up reminders like this one. They're going to have a bunch of messages just like these. As you can see, some are a little rude, some are not. Some are missed calls. So what your virtual assistant is going to do is they're going to come in. They're going to take a look. They're going to take a look at all the messages one by one, open them. And then they are going to use tags So they're going to use all the tags, and each tag has a place in the opportunities tab. So they will go in here and they'll put lead. If it's a client that's interested, they'll put lead. If it's a client that's not interested, they'll put not interested. And if it's a client that threatens to sue, they'll put DNC. If it's a client that, says they're interested, they'll tag lead first, and then they'll ask qualifying questions, and then they'll go and book the appointment on the calendar. And once they book the appointment on the calendar, it's going to pop up. You're going to get a message on your phone, and it's going to show up in your acquisition pipeline.